Before we get started, if you're a leader who wants to protect decision quality, energy, and long term performance, check the show notes. You'll find my executive capacity audit, the wait list for the Strategic Longevity Collective, my ebook Longevity Unlocked, The Genesis, and an invitation to my live webinar on March 17th titled How to Lead with Clarity Without Sacrificing Your Energy or Longevity. Everything is linked below. Now let's get into this episode. Welcome to Longevity Unlocked. I'm Sherri Austin, registered nurse, executive longevity and performance advisor. And this podcast is for leaders who refuse to trade their health, clarity, or decision quality for success. Here's what we do differently. We don't talk about hustle. We don't chase optimization for optimization's sake. And we don't wait for burnout to intervene. This is where we examine the physiology behind leadership, how sleep, stress, nutrition, movement, and recovery directly shape cognitive capacity, emotional regulation, and long-term decision quality. Because the truth is, most leadership risk doesn't come from lack of skill or intelligence. It comes from quiet capacity erosion, the kind you normalize because nothing is technically broken. Each episode is designed to help you think more clearly under pressure, lead with greater range and resilience, and build a longevity strategy that protects both your performance and your future self. Organizations, they protect capital, they protect systems, and they protect reputation. But almost no organization intentionally protects judgment, the very asset every other decision depends on. At the CEO founder level, decision quality is the strategic capacity. When judgment is sharp, complexity is manageable. But when judgment degrades, even slightly, friction multiplies everywhere. Today, we're going to reframe decision quality as what it truly is: finite, depletable, and strategically protectable. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand why protecting decision quality isn't self-care. It's stewardship of the role. Case study number 1 is the Nothing is Broken CEO. Now, I've worked with a hospital executive running a 7-figure hospital system. Revenue was stable. The team performance looked fine. No crisis, but decision cycles were shrinking. Strategic conversations were replaced with tactical fixes. Long-term planning felt mentally expensive. Delegation increased, but clarity decreased. Nothing was broken, but judgment was narrowing. This is the most dangerous phase for leaders. Not burnout, but quiet degradation. Science-backed insight number 1, cognitive load and decision fatigue. Neuroscience shows decision-making relies heavily on the prefrontal cortex, that's the front of the brain, the same region responsible for executive function, impulse control, and long-range planning. Under sustained cognitive load, risk tolerance narrows, time horizons shorten, leaders default to familiar or reactive choices. Importantly is you don't feel this happening. Decision quality degrades before exhaustion is perceived. Now, my personal story is an ICU parallel, and as an ICU nurse in high acuity ICUs, I learned something early. We don't wait for systems to fail before intervening. We watch for early signal degradation. Judgment is no different. Leaders are often praised for pushing through, but pushing through is not the same as operating at capacity. Case study number 2, strategic drift without collapse. A CEO, let's call her Ada, she described herself as feeling less sharp, but dismissed it because results were still coming. What we uncovered was she had fewer original insights, more second guessing, and increasing reliance on consensus instead of conviction. The business hadn't stalled, but her strategic edge was eroding. Science-backed insight number 2, decision quality is finite. Research confirms every decision carries a metabolic cost. High-stakes decisions consume more cognitive resources. Recovery is not automatic. It must be designed. Without intentional recovery and protection, judgment becomes a depleting asset. I've lived this personally. I was becoming the limiting factor. There was a time when I was high functioning, productive, and outwardly successful, but cognitively narrowed. I wasn't failing. I was operating below my true decision capacity. That realization changed how I approach leadership entirely. Case study number 3 is about protected judgment and exponential clarity. One executive, let's call him Bill, implemented a single shift, protected decision windows during peak cognitive states. Within weeks, his strategic clarity returned. He realized fewer decisions created better outcomes, and his leadership presence changed. Same intelligence, different protection. Science fact insight number 3, signal loss precedes outcome failure. Physiology always signals before performance collapses. Sleep quality, interruption load, decision density, and recovery windows predict leadership effectiveness more accurately than motivation or grit. Decision quality is not a mindset problem. It's a capacity management issue. I personally realized that stewardship of my role as a leader and executive advisor was dependent on me protecting my decision quality. This isn't indulgent and it's not self-care. It's stewardship because when judgment degrades at the top, everyone downstream pays the cost. Now let's get into 5 strategies you can use today. Number 1, audit your decision density. Identify which decisions must be made by you and which shouldn't. Number 2, protect peak judgment windows. Schedule strategic decisions only during high energy cognitive states. Number 3, reduce interruption load. Fewer interruptions equal higher signal clarity. Number 4, separate thinking from reacting. Build non-negotiable thinking time into your calendar. And number 5, track early signal indicators. Sleep quality, decision fatigue, and calendar control are leading indicators, not afterthoughts. Protecting decision quality isn't self-care. It's stewardship of the role. If this conversation resonated, here's how to go deeper. Register for my March 17th webinar, Reading the Signal, a Smarter Way to Protect Decision Quality at the Top. Join the waitlist for the Strategic Longevity Collective. Grab my ebook, Longevity Unlocked, The Genesis. Like, subscribe, and share this episode. Follow me at Ask Nurse Sherri on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Follow me at Ask Sherri RN on X. And for my avid blog readers like me, follow me on Substack at Executive Longevity. It's a strategic examination of how leaders and institutions sustain executive performance, judgment, and authority over time. All links are waiting for you in the show notes because clarity isn't about doing more, it's about protecting what matters most.